Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's time to do another review version. This time around, I just to mention version of my previous review version talking about The Day After Tomorrow from the director from Independence Day. And I should mention version, I should probably review version of that movie, of course, version, because I haven't explained about this movie. I have explained this a little bit over the movie itself, but before he actually did this version, he also did other previous movies. So let's head back to the DVD shelf, with all the etc. of Blu-rays right there, and see what I'm actually going to talk about. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, which kind of Blu-ray should I review this time? Because I didn't mention much about The Day After Tomorrow, and I want to discuss about one movie that that the director did the movie itself, and I want to basically explain about this. So let's check it out and see on this rack over here all the Blu-rays that I can basically try to talk about. So where is it? Ah, here it is. Independence Day. Well, I guess we talk about none other than Independence Day. Today, I am pretty much making reviews. Welcome back. Yeah, good old Independence Day. Now, I should mention though, originally, that with the ideas instance of the director, what's his face, Ronald Reagan, actually really didn't capture really make an awesome, good independent movie. Especially with the ideas for doing Independence Day, it's pretty obvious that the movie itself is very full of a little bit of action, just a bit, because in some shape or form, there's really no way I can explain about it. It's just one of those movies that involves with alien invasion, uh, soldiers is basically battling with a bunch of aliens from outer space. I mean, just like human resident form. This is like this is the pre-form of aliens, or something. But aliens and Predator is far more different than Independence Day. But I love the movie itself, because not only basically it just evolves with basically the government fighting the aliens, it's also everybody. Everybody's involved with this film. I mean, you got like certain characters, like for instance, like this, they just really guest stars into this film, and it's pretty obvious. Not only you have Will Smith and a few others, you also have very considerable cameo of cast who been in based in certain many movies and TV shows before, and it's just so much richer more. And there's a lot more rich I could say about it. You have Will Smith, you have what's his face, Billy Pullman, or if you would call it, Jeff Gordon, Jeff, and all the greats of the cast. I mean, for Will Smith, his performance, I mean, he just aperture to this thing. I think this is probably his first ever. Or probably no, this is probably his fourth film before he did. I think he actually did some private movies. I do know he basically did afterwards for Men in Black and Wild Wild West and a few other movies that he's been in. But it's been a couple of years that he's been in certain movies. But it's pretty obvious that this movie itself is actually just one of my favorites, and probably at least the movies I enjoy watching. There's really a lot more I like to say about it, but there's really just like I can really say about it because it's just one of the fine movies that have all time beats released in the '90s, and since it's now available on Blu-ray, it's the picture quality. It looks very well a lot more crisper and a lot more better version because I used to own this version on VHS version when it first came out. I was like probably like maybe the age of 10 years old, and my first ever VHS movie was based on this one. And this is actually probably the pre-time version when I knew Aliens and Predator movies before this came along. But I actually enjoyed this so much because it was really kind of like the first ever movie I enjoyed watching. It was the first ever version to see Will Smith be in a very well-done action-packed movie. I mean, there's a few little bit action scenes in the film itself, but it's pretty well contained to very well conditions of what it's worth and what it's basically kind of capable of. And to be acceptors of that, it's pretty obvious that once in a while, it does eventually turn to be a little bit more boring just a little bit, but it turns to be a little bit fun. And for what it's worth, I personally enjoy it. So basically, we've got the front cover. This is actually the poster boards which they actually used Richard from the, when they released this movie. And I will say, for what it's worth, to see the this images of say beyond high definition, that's pretty well considered why that Blu-ray is pretty well cheap now with movies which are being currently being released which on DVD, well on VHS I mean and DVD, and actually turned it into on Blu-ray. I will say with the picture quality, it looks very well fine visually. It looks very well crisp and clean and very well interesting to this piece to watch. And I enjoy this. So that's the front cover. That's the spine. And on the back, it's loaded with pretty much with the same featurettes on the DVD version. So we open it up, got a eco package with a nice disc art. Nothing that spectacular, but pretty well interesting. So for features, we got scene entrance with commentary by Ronald Reagan and Dean Dillon. Commentary by special effects supervisor Volume England and Doug Smith. Trivia tracks, cemented with context, personal scenes, cementing, alien cementing, hunting game. Yeah, that's a kind of pretty interesting which to play version because you're playing as a alien researcher, you're a hunter to play around around with the basically aliens mothership, which is I haven't played originally. And also we got Interuncha with a deep box motion capture system. Yeah, that's a kind of like a very sensitive way of this originally. Because I do know the fact which on the DVD version there was like a ton of features and actually really boatload of extras which are on the sets on the previous set. But as far as I'm aware, originally, is I don't know if that's space incorporated into this version, but I do know the fact that it is. But it's been really ages since I haven't seen. And then we have the outro and tease and trailers version. So that's pretty much it really in a nutshell. I will say for what it's worth, it's basically a very well good movie. I picked this up version for about $9.95 at Walmart. And it was pretty well cheaper price version to pick this up version because I was very surprised when I saw this version for like probably like 10 or maybe $5. I kind of missed out because I really wanted to get other certain movies and other certain DVDs I was picking up and a couple Blu-rays. But as soon as I basically saw this for $9, I could not resist, which I had to basically pick it up, and it was cheap, and I couldn't never say about that. So yeah, Independence Day, definitely worth getting it. If you like, like I said before, if you like the end of the world crisis movies, then definitely worth picking up Independence Day, along with basically with Aliens and Predators, because like I say, it does try to incorporate Richard, but this is actually takes a lot more different than Aliens and Predator, because really Aliens is more very well connected, and I never see Aliens before, Richard. I will eventually come around and pick that up. But yeah, Independence Day, definitely want to get in and check it out. So that really ends up with this DVD, well, this Well, that concludes version of this Blu-ray and DVD, Blu-ray, I can't even pronounce it. I can't even speak right now. Okay. Well, that concludes of this Blu-ray review of Independence Day. I had a blast seeing this on Blu-ray originally. I was expecting originally that the the resolution of basically the picture quality looks fine originally. It looks very well, clean. The only thing I will say about it is basically it's probably the movie that eventually kind of drove you to watching Aliens a lot more, but this is a far more different than Aliens. It's a lot more, I will say for what it is a PG-13 movie, and there's really less violence on this movie, but you're not going to miss that much. It's just basically so much really special effects that actually, and it's a great movie. It's really well watchful, and I had no problem watching it. This is probably the first exposure of me watching Aliens movies. And this is probably the only movie I actually enjoyed watching as a kid, because I wasn't really cool as a base of watching, end of the world movies or basically sci-fi, but this pretty much takes the icing of the cake. And yeah, I had a blast with it. So that ends the review for now. Next up, we'll probably do more DVD updates or more DVD reviews. I don't know. You have to wait and see. Alrighty, so then until next time, this is Ed Brown. Thank you for watching, and sayonara. Welcome back. Yeah, good old Independence Day. Now, I should mention though, originally, that with the ideas instance of the director, what's his face, Ronald Reagan, actually really didn't capture, really make an awesome, good independent movie. Especially with the ideas for doing Independence Day, it's pretty obvious that the movie itself is very full of a little bit of action, just a bit, because in some form, there's really no way I can explain it by it. It's just one of those movies that involves with alien invasion, uh, soldiers is basically battling with a bunch of aliens from outer space. I mean, just like human resident form. This is like the pre-time. This is the pre-form of aliens, but aliens and Predator is far more different than Independence Day. But I love the movie itself, because not only basically it just evolves with basically the government. Well, which kind of Blu-ray should I review this time? Because I didn't mention about The Day After Tomorrow, and I want to discuss about one movie that I originally, that the director who did the movie itself, and I want to basically explain about this. So let's check it out and see on this track over here all the Blu-rays that I can basically try to talk about. So where is it? Ah, here it is. Independence Day. Well, I guess we talk about none other than Independence Day. Today, I am pretty much making reviews. It's fighting the aliens. It's also everybody. Everybody's involved with this film. I mean, you got like certain characters, like for instance, like this. They just really guest stars into this film, and it's pretty obvious. Not only you have Will Smith and a few others, you also have very considerable cameo of cast who been in based in certain many movies and TV shows before, and it's just so much richer more. And there's a lot more rich I can say about it. You have Will Smith, you have what's his face, Billy Pullman, or if you would call it, Jeff Gordon, and all the greats of the cast. I mean, for Will Smith, his performance, I mean, he just aperture to this thing. I think this is probably his first ever. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's time to do another review, Richard. This time around, this is just to mention, Richard, my previous review, Richard, talking about The Day After Tomorrow from the director from Independence Day. And I should mention, Richard, I should probably review, Richard, that movie, of course, Richard, because I haven't explained about this movie. I have explained this a little bit over the movie itself, but before he actually did this version, he also did other previous movies. So let's head back to the DVD shelf, with all the etc. Blu-rays right there, and see what I'm actually going to talk about. Okay, that's fine.